many, many years ago, according to lore, it was a Jiffy Lube. And so we have now officially transformed the space. There's two main features, I'd say. The first is in the other room, and we're going to do the great unveiling later, but those are our recording studios. So we have two studios. We have one large 4-person studio, and it's equipped with state-of-the-art equipment. It has a control room with a digital mixer, all kinds of good stuff, the full suite of audio editing software, so Pro Tools, Audition, all of that. And we also have a smaller single-person vocal booth, which you could probably fit 2 in there, but mostly it's for 1 person. And the other feature is sort of this space that we're in right now, which is our community room. And during the day, we'll be having co-working in here for producers. And in the evening, we're going to have events. And those events are all kicking off next week. We have like a full couple of months. And the first event is actually next Monday. PRX Remixes, Josh Swartz is here, and he's going to be doing our first listening event. So there'll be a theme, and he's going to be playing stories from independent producers from across the world, potentially. And then on Wednesday, we're hosting the Sonic Soiree, which is actually a group of local producers who get together and listen to stories as well and sort of critique. And so that's more of just like a mingle and networking event. And on August 11th, Damon Krakowski, who's also here, writer and musician, will be giving a book talk about his forthcoming book, The New Analog. So we're so excited. We hope you'll come out for those, but we have all of that and more on our website, which is podcastgarage.org. What else can I tell you? Oh, I have a couple of thank yous. So I want to give a very big thank you to our equipment sponsors, which are Sonos, Genelec, Hindenburg, and Sennheiser. They all donated equipment to our studios, so thank you to them. And also I want to thank the artists who contributed to this space. As you probably saw when you came in, we had this beautiful mural created by Kenji Nakayama. He conceptualized it and painted it with a couple of guys out on really hot days. And inside, we have 2 pieces of art by the local artist Kavan Deep Verdi, who is loaning us these 2 pieces. He also has a mural down on the Greenway, so if you go down there, go check it out. And yeah, we're going to be rotating art throughout the year, so if you know any artists that are interested in loaning us some pieces, we will feature them. That's all, I believe. Wonderful. Well, I am very, very pleased to introduce you to PRX CEO, Carrie Hoffman.
Thank you, Audrey. Welcome, everyone. So a little bit less than a year ago, we got an email from Gustavo, who's here, who works for Graffito, and they were redeveloping Zone 3. We've learned. Zone 3 is a Harvard-sparked initiative to experiment with programs and events and retail all along Western Avenue. So the email said that they were interested in, quote, enlivening the corridor with new energy, end quote. And so, okay, so that piqued our interest, and we were always looking for ways to, connect with our Boston community. And then the email went on to say, and this is the piece that kind of sealed the deal for us, is that they were particularly interested in fostering a maker culture, creating an open community, and supporting storytelling. So this is language that we've used to describe PRX's work with producers all over the world for over a decade. The PRX works with some of the most popular and most successful public radio shows, including the Moth Radio Hour, Reveal, On Being, This American Life. And 2 years ago, we created Radiotopia, our podcast network of independent producers. So one of the things about creating a podcast and being an independent producer is that it's very lonely. It's more lonely than you'd think. It's very isolating. They move around from coffee shops and libraries and mostly looking for excellent internet service. And they also rarely have access to state-of-the-art equipment. So the Podcast Garage closes that gap. We're also really excited to be here in Allston, this dynamic neighborhood, part of Zone 3. We've met some of our neighbors, and we're hoping that they take advantage of our educational programs, and who knows, maybe even take a spin in the studio. We're also really happy, as Audrey said, to repurpose a Jiffy Loop. How cool is that? This is something that's arts-focused. So all of this, the construction, the artwork, the programming, the construction, liaising with Harvard, has been led by PRX's Audrey Mardovich, who you met a minute ago. And I want to thank her for a job well done. Of course, these things are the work of many people, a team. It takes a team. And I wanted to give a special shout out to Chris Kalifarsky, our senior software developer. He's been responsible for all of the technology and equipment. And Chiquita Pascal, who is our community manager, and she's been working tirelessly for months and really generating some interest in what we're doing here. So the Podcast Garage is now a space that embodies PRX's values, a commitment to openness, connecting people, connecting talent with audience, and connecting producers with professional services. We are really thrilled to have this as a new facility and a new resource for local Boston producers. And we know that it'll be successful because the interest that has been generated already has been kind of overwhelming our staff a little bit. And that just, later on today around 5:30, we're gonna have a couple hundred people celebrating in the parking lot. So we're really excited about that. So there's a need, and we're looking forward to filling it. But our sites are actually on the next generation of makers. And we want to bring all that we've built and all that we've learned so that they can tell their stories, connect with fans, and earn money in the arts. So you may be an avid podcast fan, and you may feel like you've heard some of the best stories out there, but we encourage you to stay tuned. We're so excited about the kind of stuff that's going to be made right here. So thank you for coming. We're really excited to be joined by Julie Burrows is the Chief of Arts and Culture for the City of Boston, and she took time out of her busy day to join us this morning, so thank you. She's also an avid, I got it right this time, podcast fan.
Thank you so much for inviting me to join you this morning. As you mentioned, I'm Julie Burrows. I'm the Chief of Arts and Culture for the City of Boston. And we are charged with helping support the artists and makers and creatives. And I see this as infrastructure, part of that system of supporting people. Last summer, we engaged in a cultural planning process for the City of Boston, Boston Creates. And we really found that creativity lives in every corner of the city, in every neighborhood. And we know innovation and creativity go absolutely hand in hand. And without innovation, our creative economy isn't going to have new ideas, new innovations to sort of solve these social problems and big problems that vex us. We also feel that everybody should have access to creative expression, those tools they need to explore their stories, explore their creativity, engage in creativity, build their chops. I'm so excited that this exists and that you guys are running it. It's an incredible resource already on social media. People in other cities are saying, well, we need one of those. We've got creative people in our city. So I love that Boston is taking the lead and can claim this space and claim this artistic, this burgeoning art form. I really see it as that. So one last plug, the City of Boston has been granted a low-power FM station. And so for all you content providers and content makers, the city has a platform that we would be happy to offer to you. So Tom Johnson on my staff is here. He's sort of my liaison to that effort. So whatever kind of bubbles out of this wonderful cauldron of experimentation and making, I know that the podcasts have an incredible platform. PRX is an amazing platform, but maybe the LPFM station is a way to reach different people in a different way. So on behalf of Mayor Walsh, I really want to thank you for bringing this to life, and we look forward to seeing what Boston creates here. Thank you.
So we're really pleased to also have one of our newest members of Radiotopia with us today. Megan, you want to come up and say a few words? Megan Dan. Megan is the host and producer of Millennial.
Thank you, Carrie. It is such a pleasure to be here. I come to Boston really just to visit these guys, and I feel like every single time I come, there's always a new announcement or something else is bubbling up, and it's always like there's so much momentum within PRX all the time, and it's always exciting. So when Carrie was talking earlier about how you're an independent producer and you're generally by yourself, she was very right. And especially when you're young and you don't know where to start, then you feel even more alone and isolated. And I know for someone like myself, I really wanted to start making things that I consumed all the time, but I didn't know how. And I felt like there was this huge gap between where I was and where I wanted to be. And there are programs out there. They cost a lot of money. And when you just graduated from college, you kind of don't want to spend that money. And so I feel like a place like the Podcast Garage, where people are really hungry to begin, they'll be able to begin right here. And the fact that a lot of the programming is going to be open to the public is really amazing. But it'll also be a space for people not only in Boston, but also in New England. Like, I know people from Vermont. I traveled from Maine this morning. I know people from New Hampshire who are going to be coming down to the event this evening. And so I feel like right now podcasting has this momentum, and I feel like PRX is on the cusp of being able to continue to help it grow. And it won't just be a place where people will grow in Boston, it'll be a place for New England. So thank you so much.
So we have an actual ribbon that we are actually going to cut. So we can go outside and we're going to hold the ribbon. We have, customary long scissors, and then we'll come back in here. We'll open up the studios, and you can mingle, eat food, and drink coffee.